Sesame Street, a show depicting lovable characters with charm and kindness, spreading amazing values to your children. They have been a well-established group within New York City for years, but behind their soulless Muppet faces lies something stained with blood. For many years, they've tried to keep this a secret, but I'm here to break the news to you. Sesame Street has been the largest mafia group New York has ever seen, and nobody has noticed it yet. This story begins with Elmo having grown up in Sesame Street. Now, this may not seem so conspicuous, but where it gets interesting is his father, Louie. Now, Louie isn't talked about that much on the show, and rarely has any screen time, but going off his somewhat Italian name, we can infer that he has Italian ties, which all leads to the Mafia. Now, knowing this, it would explain why he rarely shows up. So, what's he doing? Elmo begins to ask questions like, how is he, a middle-class family, able to afford a home in the heart of Manhattan? And also, how are they able to afford Balenciaga sweaters when his dad is a stay-at-home one? So, one night, Elmo faked falling asleep to see where his dad goes on his late-night runs. He follows him all the way to Central Park on his bike and sees his dad meet up with a familiar face, Cookie Monster. They exchange what looks like to be a dozen boxes of Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies and a black bag of what appeared to be cash. They shook hands and went on their way. Elmo popped out of the trees and confronted his dad. He asked him why was he buying cookies from Cookie Monster so late and without Mom. Louie just told him he's too young to understand his business and that he doesn't want him to get involved. Elmo grabbed a cookie box from his father's hand and opened it. Well, if it isn't cocaine, he said. Louie said to Elmo, what I'm about to tell you is something that you can't share with your mother. I'm part of the Mafia, and I owe some money to some pretty big people, so you can either help me or never speak of this again. Elmo took some time to think about what he'll do. On one hand, he can choose to go back to his life of talking to random crackheads on the street of Manhattan, or he could be the one selling it and distributing it while making money. He chose the second option. His father and him worked alongside each other, meeting with many mafia bosses throughout the city. Sinatra, the mouse from Zootopia, Oscar the Grouch. They worked hand in hand distributing crack like no other. Then one day, Louie got a knock at his door. He opened it to find none other than the mafia leader, Rocco. Rocco had been looking for Louie for some time now, as he owed him money for running a smoke shop in South Jersey. Louie pleaded with Rocco, saying he has the money, he can pay him back now. But Rocco could care less about the money, as he disrespected him in front of his family. Rocco then pulled out his Tommy gun, and his shots rang out. Elmo woke up and found his father laying on the floor. He looked outside and saw Rocco driving away. Elmo held his father in his arms, but the wounds didn't seem to be fatal. He rushed him to the hospital, and thankfully, the doctors were able to stabilize him, but he had slipped into a coma. Elmo knew what he had to do. This act against his father drove him mad. So, he gathered a team of reliable people like Big Bird, Grover, Bert and Ernie, and Rosita. He said to them that the job they're going to do involves blood, and if none of them are interested, they should leave now. None left, and it was game on. Grover was tasked with the tracking and doing background on Rocco. Bert and Ernie were in charge of ballistics. Rosita had to gain access into Rocco's headquarters, and Big Bird was aerial surveillance. The plan was to sneak into Rocco's mansion, steal his crack empire, and take down his mob. Rosita gained access into Rocco's mansion through stating she had operations with the cartel and distribution, and wanted to meet with Rocco. He accepted. Grover reported back to Elmo stating that Rocco has sleep apnea and requires a CPAP machine to sleep at night. That, paired with Bert and Ernie's assortment of toxic gases, his plan was a full go. At 8 p.m., Elmo entered Rocco's mansion through a back door Rosita had left unlocked. He made his way into the foyer where he found 3 guard dogs asleep. As he snuck past them, he stepped on one of their chew toys, alerting them. He had to improvise. After that, he made his way upstairs to Rocco's bedroom. He tried to open the door, but it was locked. Then, on the radio, Big Bird rang saying that Oscar the Grouch was in the house. Elmo had to quickly hide in a nearby closet. Oscar made his way upstairs, but then he stopped right outside the closet. Elmo jumped out and quickly took out his gun. Oscar swung, hitting Elmo with his trash can, disorienting him. Elmo then fell down the stairs. Oscar laughed at him and said, "You're just a kid. What are you going to do? You can't stop me." Elmo turned to Oscar and chuckled. Little did he know that Elmo was carrying rabies-infested rats and had placed him inside of Oscar's trash can. They bit him, and that was the end to that confrontation. Oscar had keys around his waist, and Elmo took him. He unlocked the door and made his way to Rocco. He put the mustard gas in his CPAP machine. Rocco woke up, but was held down by Elmo. In his final words, Elmo said to him, "Don't mess with my family again." Rocco was dead. Louis, a couple days later, woke up from his coma, and word spread about New York's largest mafia boss went down. Now, there was nothing in the way of Elmo and Louis from becoming the next mafia leaders of the Big Apple. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm just getting really bored over here. Later.